This month, we've reviewed superhero comic movies from the 1990s. Most of them were, to be honest, cash grabs. Production companies saw that people liked superheroes and comics and decided why not try and get the rights to one and make a movie. Today's entry wasn't just a cash grab. This was spearheaded by someone passionate about the property and the project. Today we're going to take a look at Warren Beatty's Dick Tracy. I'm Ollamh, and welcome to Geek Corner Reviews. The movie opens up very quietly. I actually had to check several times to make sure my sound was on. We get a news report about some gangland type strong-arming a news dealer, while we see Tracy equipping himself with his gun, his star, and his radio watch. The reports continue about resisting citizens, even going so far as to mention an elderly mother of 4 that was murdered over a gambling debt, as the camera pans over a beautifully drawn cityscape. This is one point about this movie. It blends the comic drawing style with live action very well. We see a homeless-looking street rat scrounging for food and sneaking into a warehouse. He sneaks around to see a group of mobsters gambling. And this is our first look at some of these stylized rogues from Tracy's world. They keep the eccentric looks through prosthetic makeup rather than trying to make them normal looking. Again, honestly, a nice touch. A lot of producers of the time and even today would try and make them either look more realistic or use CGI instead of being true to the source material. Soon, a car crashes in and the entire group is gunned down. Dare I say it, gangland style. Flat Top steps out and shoots at the kid as he runs away, and also uses an almost endless drum of bullets to leave a message on the wall. Tracy is at an opera when he gets the call about the crime.
Come in, Pat. This is Tracy.
I guess before cell phones, they didn't really have courtesy rules about silencing communication devices.
On my way.
Donning his yellow fedora, he tells his date that he'll be back as he wants to find out how it ends and stumbles out of the theater. We get our first look at Beatty as Dick Tracy. It's not a tough role to fill, provided the actor has broad shoulders, a strong jawline, and doesn't mind wearing garish yellow. The message written on the wall is "Eat Lead Tracy," which doesn't really mean anything. It's kind of a threat, but it only works if you're actively shooting at Dick Tracy. Tracy reads the message and immediately knows who's behind this.
Big boy Caprice.
And afterwards returns to the opera. I'm not sure he really needed to be there for anything, but it does show us his determination to the job. It's a lot better than just stating that he's determined, which they tend to do in modern movies. It's always better to show rather than tell. As Tracy and Tess leave the opera, he's accosted by news reporters, asking about rumors of him moving up to chief of police or even running for mayor. Walking away, Tracy and Tess talk about the rumors, and Tracy doubles down on staying where he is, on the street and not behind a desk. I wonder if this will be a major conflict in the rest of the movie. Meanwhile, we move over to a singer in a club, and the owner, Lips, slurping down oysters like he's competing in a food challenge. Lips is told about the shootout at the garage and is arrested, along with the singer Breathless, in a police raid for owning a gambling establishment. Dragged outside, they realize it's a setup when they see Flat Top in the car. At this point, we cut between two stories. Tess and Tracy arguing about the promotion until Tracy chases after a kid who stole a watch, beating up his caretaker, and taking care of the kid. and Lips signing over the deed to the club to Big Boy, the main bad guy of the picture.
You're dirty, Lips. You need a bath.
Lips is given a bath in cement inside of a crate. At least they have a form to create the cement block, and Big Boy takes over his territory. Before he can make the call, Tracy gets a call on his watch to come down to the warehouse. So Tess is put in charge of the kid as Tracy is back on duty.
You two married?
Tess proves she isn't going to be walked over as the kid tries to steal the money for the food, but gets caught and is threatened.
I don't like days. Good. Me neither.
Tracy finds walnuts and an earring at the scene of Lips' murder and tells them to bring in Flat Top and Itchy, known accomplices of Big Boy and rivals to Lips. It seems he's the only one who puts two and two together, as the other cops don't understand why he wants them brought in. When those two don't talk, Tracy has them bring in Mumbles. They place him in front of a hot lamp in his shirt and boxers, which I'm pretty sure wasn't ever standard police procedure. As Tracy interrogates Mumbles, we see just how much Big Boy micromanages his people. Even the singer Breathless isn't allowed to do her own thing. He has to be involved in developing her routine. Mumbles is living up to his name in the interrogation room, to the point where the stenographer has given up on taking down his statement. Tracy torments Mumbles even more with a disturbing pour of water from a perverted bear. I wonder if they ever put lemonade in that thing. As they take Mumbles out, Tracy goes to arrest Big Boy for the 5th time. Tracy notices that Breathless is wearing the matching earring and knows that Big Boy likes walnuts.
A lot of people like walnuts.
Tracy doesn't leave with the cops, though, instead going back to talk to Breathless and offering her a deal if she confesses to what she saw. Meanwhile, she tries to seduce him.
No grief for Lips.
I'm wearing black underwear.
Returning home, Tess tells Tracy that she needs to go to work. As Tracy goes to lay down, he notices the kid is sleeping in his bed. So because he's all manly and doesn't sleep, he goes down to the station. Or maybe he sleeps on the couch and it's the next day. They never really say. Tracy is pulled in front of the district attorney, played by Dick Van Dyke, and threatened with being taken off duty. Tracy and Tess take the kid clothes shopping, which he doesn't like because that means school and the orphanage. Finally, he picks out a bright red suit and is all happy. We get our first montage of the movie. Tracy, Tess, and the kid spending time together, and the kid always asking when they eat. At least they're using this trope of a short story in each panel to speed things along, as we're only 30 minutes or so into the movie. Tracy seems like he has something on his mind as he tries to ask Tess a question, but never actually manages to say it. Granted, he does get interrupted as Flat Top and Itchy try a drive-by shooting to take out Dick Tracy. The kid warns him and the attempted murder fails, and the kid is all excited to chase him down. Breathless tries to seduce Tracy again, but it still doesn't work. Tracy follows her back to the club, because he didn't know where she would be going, and sees Big Boy with all the crime bosses sitting around a table, trying to get everyone together under his leadership.
Use your imagination.
Big Boy blows up a crime boss's car who doesn't want to join, and we get to see a new player in the game, a man with no face. Tracy, not being there legally, heads home to deal with the kid. He gets a visitor from the welfare department, except for it's actually Itchy and Flat Top, who kidnapped Tracy. Apparently they don't have peepholes in the doors these days. Big Boy tries to bribe Tracy into joining him, but of course Tracy's an upstanding kind of guy. They rig the boiler in the basement of Tess's building to blow up and kill Tracy, but the kid comes through and rescues him again. We also find out that Itchy is very juvenile, or maybe just has a castration fetish. After saving Tracy's life, the kid is made an honorary detective with a temporary certificate until he picks a name other than the Kid. Tess and the Kid go out for ice cream as Breathless shows up to try and seduce Tracy yet again. She realizes it isn't working so well, so she moves in to kiss him, which is just when Tess and the Kid show up. Not great timing. It's more than a little unbelievable that Tess would really think that Tracy is cheating on her. He's so wrapped up in being a police officer that he hasn't asked her to marry him or move in together. Obviously, he'd be too wrapped up in his work to have a lady on the side. They can't even get through a date together without work coming up. Meanwhile, Faceless gets the piano player, 88 Keys, to meet him and take an offer to Big Boy. Faceless will take care of Tracy for 10% of Big Boy's business. Tracy runs a raid on the club, which doesn't go so well, but it was actually a ruse to put a mole in the attic, which gives them a step up on Big Boy's crimes. We get another montage of Big Boy planning crimes, the mole hearing them, and Tracy showing up and busting up the plots. We also see Tess being kind of mopey about Tracy being absent. If only there was something she could hear, like a news report about Tracy working night after night, breaking up crime and beating up criminals. Finally, Big Boy breaks. He takes the deal the piano player's mysterious contact offered. They kidnap Tess, drug Tracy, lure the district attorney to a motel room. The DA is murdered and Tracy is framed. Tracy gets arrested and the kid is sent to the orphanage. Another montage shows us just how good Big Boy has it as crime soars and there's nobody there to stop his spree. The kid shows Tracy that he picked a name, Dick Tracy Jr. Some of Tracy's cop buddies give him 8 hours to clear his name, so they go to the club and meet Mumbles, bringing the obscene water cooler. It turns out that Tracy was smart enough to record the interrogation. Slowing down the tape, he has Mumbles confessing that Big Boy murdered Lips. He spills the beans about the setup, proving that he can actually talk normally.
88 Keys, the piano man, set you up. Big Boy paid him to get you out of the way.
Faceless calls the cops and tells them to go to the club. He's hidden Tess in the attic of the club and framed Big Boy for the kidnapping. The ensuing chase leads Tracy, Big Boy, Faceless, and Tess to a building housing gears and controls for a bridge. Big Boy ties Tess to the gears, and there's a three-way face-off. No offense, Faceless. Big Boy shoots Faceless, Tracy sends Big Boy over the railing to fall to his death. After saving Tess, it's revealed that Faceless was actually the singer Breathless all along. With Tracy exonerated, him, Tess, and Junior go to the diner, and he almost asks Tess to marry him, but gets a call about a robbery. Junior runs for the door, calling for Tracy, who runs off as well, but not before tossing a ring to Tess. We also see Tracy and Junior drive off as the scene becomes a comic painting again. And that was 1990's Dick Tracy. In many ways, it was the best of the movies we looked at this month. It was more faithful to the original, keeping the characters and their looks true. It's more of a typical noir detective story than anything else, but that works for the character of Dick Tracy. It isn't perfect, though. It does jump around a lot. It feels like they were trying to copy the back and forth of a comic book, which doesn't really translate well to a movie. It was obviously a passion project, as how it paid homage to the original. It tried to keep as true as possible. It also has the best review scores of the three movies this month, with a 60% critic review and a 53% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So what do you think about Dick Tracy? Did you like the villain's prosthetics, or would you have preferred more normal-looking people, or maybe even CGI? Did the mixing of comic style and movie action appeal to you, or was it too jumbled? As with all of our non-gaming videos, it's not just a summary, it's a conversation starter. So leave a comment down below, send us a tweet or a post on our Facebook page, and let's talk about the movie. With that, we end the movie reviews for the month of June, with July being the birth month of a major actor, with some classic movies, some comedy movies, some serious action movies, and some just plain awful movies. We're going to be focusing on Arnold Schwarzenegger. As always, thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to press the subscribe button down below so that you can stay tuned for more from Ollamh Productions.
If you wanna see some crazy,
Cheerio!
so lazy, you should meet me and my friends.
Of course, I know that they're probably intending for you to do it, multiplayer. So you're supposed to have a team of people together.
She puts two and two together as she was only told to kill the Shadow, and realizes the Shadow is Lamont Cranston.